Mabuhay, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Why young men should date a Filipina. Focused priorities. This is going to take a couple of parts to make, just to make sure I stay under the 10-minute limit. Focused priorities. Are you a young man believing that a relationship with a woman is not going to happen for you? So you aren't even making it a priority to look for a wife? I can understand why that would make you less focused than you ought to be. You can always remain alone and unfulfilled, or you can decide to rearrange some things about your life so that you are more likely to find someone to marry. There are different ideas about how hard you should go and try, and I will share my methodology today. It is not the idea of when you stop looking, then you will find someone. Have you ever heard that one before? I have. I didn't believe it then, and I certainly don't, advocate that today. Please subscribe here to Love Beyond the Sea. I'm going to offer marriage advice to young men also because I care. Dating a Filipina is not just for older guys. Young men are losing focus today on what's important. Comments, of course, are always welcome. And I'm starting a series today called Why Young Men Should Date a Filipina. Videos will be in the YouTube playlist called Young Men and Filipinas. I've got 1,540 videos and numerous playlists where these videos can be found if that helps you, track something you're interested in. And Christian Filipina affiliate link. And the Christian Filipina is the only dating site I can personally recommend. And there will be a link in TikTok at the top, as well as the comments section in YouTube. Many these days will tell young men that they're better off just staying single. It's kind of been a trend lately, and then they'll say, well, just have casual sex and do your own thing. I say that being selfish is going to end up making your life unremarkable when it's all said and done, until the point that eventually no one will care that you even lived because you were self-absorbed. Again, please leave comments. I feel very strongly about making every effort to look for a wife and avoid being alone the rest of your life. That's what I thought was going to happen back in 2015 when I married a woman from the Philippines, proposed online, got married in less than 8 weeks, and we've been married for about 8 years and 3 or 4 months. So when should looking for a wife become a priority? Well, normally things don't just fall into our laps. We aim for a target, and we need to pursue things that have real value, lasting value, even pursuing that to the exclusion of other things. If we're going to be successful, as a man, you can't just give up. You are the pursuer, but you can look in a different area or even country like I did. Again, been married for over 8 years. That reminds me of a saying, everything comes to him who hustles while he waits. And there's some truth in that. The athlete doesn't waste his time eating junk food, playing video games, not the ones who desire to be great. If they want to play in the NFL or the NBA, they're going to have to prioritize some things before others, and may have to give up some things in order to accomplish this goal. Now, before I got married in 2015, I figured I needed to learn a lot about marriage. I talked to people about marriage and prepare myself for marriage and read books and tapes and all that. And of course, tried to date people. 1 Corinthians 13:11 in the Bible says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. At some point, a young man needs to grow up, and getting married is a good indication that he is wanting to take that next step, which means taking on more responsibility. Boys do what they want to do. Men do what they have to do. Time goes very fast, and before you know it, you're 40, 50 years old, and have lived by far most of your life alone, and may very well die that way. You don't have to stall your life by focusing on career and education. If you have the ambition for a career and education, you have the ambition for looking for a wife. And therefore, education is a means of being a good provider in marriage. It's a good goal. College becomes an even bigger priority because marriage is a big priority. Now, I don't want to get into whether, college is as important today as it used to be. All I'm saying is it does have some advantages, and I don't want to argue about that point. But college does help open doors. It did in the past, and it can still do that today. That's all I really want to say about that. The woman you want to marry is looking for a man with ambition, but she also wants a man who uses his career and education to provide a better life for them. Even if you don't go to college, I never did. A trade school, which I did, is a good thing to do. So you can be able to provide for a woman to marry someday, but you have to be out there looking. I think a good woman wants to see her husband enthusiastic about his work, but he still needs to make money. I will run out of time on TikTok since there's a limit if I don't have part 2. So this is enough for now about the need for focused priorities in finding a wife. Let me know what you think. Part 2 will be coming up here next on Love Beyond the Sea.